ratio analysis, we chose three competitors of Redbox to analyze their financial ratios and compare them to one another. The three companies we will analyze are Netflix, Disney, and Charter Communications. We chose Netflix, the digital streaming company, as a very obvious competitor to Redbox. Disney creates its own content for release and manipulates what Redbox is able to rent, but also is on the brink of releasing its own streaming service. Charter Communications is the parent company of cable networks, on which you can watch movies on TV or, in some cases, rent movies from the cable provider itself.
For ratio analysis, we chose three competitors of Redbox to analyze their financial ratios and compare them to one another. The three companies we will analyze are Netflix, Disney, and Charter Communications. We chose Netflix, the digital streaming company, as a very obvious competitor to Redbox. Disney creates its own content for release and manipulates what Redbox is able to rent, but also is on the brink of releasing its own streaming service. Charter Communications is the parent company of many cable networks on which you can watch movies on TV, or in some cases, rent movies from the cable provider itself. After analyzing Netflix's ratios, a few stood out in particular. First, their current ratio and quick ratio is 1.5, signaling that they are a fairly liquid company and they are able to cover their short-term debts. They also have no inventory, making for no distinction between current and quick ratio. On the other hand, their debt-to-equity ratio is 3.96 and their debt-to-assets ratio is 0.8. These two ratios are fairly concerning because they have far more debt than ownership, as well as the fact that 80% of their assets are financed through debt. Lastly, their AR turnover is 0, meaning they carry no outstanding accounts receivable and therefore have no issues with collecting on sales. This is due from the fact they have a subscription service and do not grant credit to customers, only providing service if the customer is able to pay. Next is Disney. One of Disney's best ratios is their profit margin, which is 21% and the best of all the competitors we have analyzed. For every dollar of sale, this company nets 21 cents, fairly impressive for such a large company. Second, Disney's debt-to-equity ratio is 0.92 and debt-to-assets ratio of 0.45. These ratios are both average, but healthy means of financing. Lastly, Disney's AR turnover is only 6.64, which translates to 55 days sales in accounts receivable. This means it typically takes about 55 days to collect a receivable, which is not fantastic. The ideal days sales in accounts receivable is 30, but if Disney has larger customers who happen to be late, they will continue to grant credit to them to keep their business as long as they are able to pay back their debts. The last company to analyze is Charter Communications. First, Charter only had a 3% profit margin for fiscal year 2018. This is the lowest among the companies listed and does not provide much wiggle room for creating a profit at year end. This is justified if Charter has incurred significant one-time expenses for 2018, so there is hope that this number could increase in the coming years. Second, their current ratio is only 0.22, spelling liquidity issues for the company. A typical current ratio is greater than or equal to 1. Charter could face serious pressure if they are suffering low profits coupled with the inability to cover short-term debts. The only good ratio about Charter is their days sales and accounts receivable, which is 13.8. This means they collect on-credit sales in less than 2 weeks of granting credit to customers. This is relatively impressive, but also questionable considering how low their current ratio is in comparison. Analyzing each of our competitors' ratios was crucial because it helps understand where our competitors' strengths and weaknesses lie and possible trends throughout the industry. As of recent, Apollo Global Management, currently the parent company of Redbox, made an outright purchase of Redbox and took the company private soon after. Therefore, the financial ratios for Redbox are currently unavailable for our analysis, as they have no obligation to release their financial statements now that they are privately held. However, our analysis of competitors tells us that if Redbox were to succeed, they would focus on three major items: maintaining a liquid state, using their kiosks to provide a lean model that has the best potential for a major profit margin, and maintaining a healthy ratio of debt to ownership.